Hey everybody. So I'm back for another episode review of Real Housewives of Potomac, The Burn Session, season 7, episode 5. Um okay. So this was it was good, but it was a lot and never mind. Anyway, so we start off with Ashley and Candace actually sitting down talking with the intention of like actually just talking, not like confronting each other for a change. So Candace does ask Ashley about her split and the announcement that became very public. And Ashley brings up, yes, that's true. And then she brings up that Michael has had his vasectomy. Again, we already heard you say this once on camera. Now you're saying it again. I don't think this is something you need to continue to bring up, particularly because at the park, you said that you felt a way. And then later in the episode, you tell Karen that you don't give two shits. Okay. Anyway, so Ashley keeps making excuses for Michael, which has been a pattern in this whole relationship all this time. She says, "Well, Michael told me he needs 24 hours before talking about this public announcement about their split. Like she's some kind of fucking business client. How does somebody tell you that? He doesn't want to talk to you. It's like he's running from her. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but the shit is weird." So Candace says she talks about the stress of being in a friend group. And Ashley's like, well, this helps you let your hair down or whatever, something to that effect. And Candace says the stress of the friend group is actually what led her to stop IVF. Remember, I told y'all, go back and look at like 2 reviews ago, and I said, Candace, you need to break away from this friend group. It ain't worth it. That's what's stressing you out, these lies about your husband. So Candace heard that Ashley was out on a date with a hockey player. Honestly, who cares? She's separated. If he's playing hockey, that means he's probably closer to her age. Good. Okay. Candace says, really out of nowhere, it was just weird. Candace says, Karen, speaking of people and the town being too small, Karen used to think she was sneaking out of town with someone who is not Ray. And I think Candace in particular, now granted, this could be editing or whatever, but the bottom line is she brought it up and Karen wasn't around. This storyline is tired, it's old, whatever. Karen and Ray are married, and it seemed like they ain't going nowhere. We can't help that. But I do think Candace brings up things like this on camera because she holds on to shit. And I feel like she still has a beef with Karen for not fully taking her side in that Monique fight. Because Candace harbors a lot of bullshit for a long time. Um, and that was just messy. I mean, like, why do that to Karen? Like, why? People are already talking shit about your husband. Why participate in that? See, that's the hypocrisy of it all. And that also tells me that Candace, it explains why Candace doesn't seem to have any real friends on this show or outside of it. We never see anybody but like her and Chris, and then her sister, like people who kind of have to be in your life to some degree. Um, and it doesn't sound like she can maintain a friendship of any kind, and therefore, essentially, camera time, and will be replaced soon enough, hopefully. Next, Giselle and her daughters go out for pedicures and manicures. You know, whatever. Giselle uses a foot towel on her face. Honestly, her skin looks like she uses foot towels on a regular basis. They're talking about the Sweet 16 party for the twins. The girls are sweet. They're pretty girls. I hate she has them on camera so much because Giselle, I'm gonna give you a whole lot before this is over. So I personally wouldn't want Giselle planning my party, considering her tackiness, not only in her wardrobe but in her everyday decor, in her home and everything else. Um, the confessional, she looks like she went to a tanning booth, like a white woman in her confessional, like because her skin looks like a burnt orange. It doesn't look like a black person who went to the beach and comes back darker than they were, or a black person during the summer. Like my skin will get darker, but it just simply gets darker because it's a tan. That orangish shit made me think like you did that on purpose, and it looks bad. It just looks bad. Speaking of bad, that weave in Giselle's hair with that platinum blonde, Barbie blonde, whatever the fuck it is, that weave is terrible. And then she had nerve to have on a yellow dress with that fucked up tan. I said, baby, 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 You don't need to be talking about nobody. I don't know what Giselle is doing with whatever little money she got, but I just need you to do better. So I get your friend is your hairdresser and your homeboy, but I need you to separate friendship from business because you get all the reads based on that. Anyway, so Robin goes and talks to the attorney. Robin. And I know people just like, you just don't like Robin. You goddamn right I don't. I don't like her. I can't stand that. I think she's whack and I think she's weak. I just can't stand a weak ass person like her. All right, so she goes to talk to the attorney about a prenup. I'm going to tell you why I'm not here for her in this prenup. And it is primarily because she lost Juan's money in the first fucking place and they were poor. Or, it was really bad, their finances as a result. And I'm sitting up here like, you have some nerve going to talk about a prenup knowing you were the one who did that. I'm sorry, if y'all building together, fine. If y'all not, fine. But make a decision. That's what I mean by her being weak. She says, well, Juan thinks it's not necessary. She's talking to the lawyer. And so the lawyer basically asks, is there a disparity in your income so much so that you actually think? Maybe the lawyer was thinking based on your weave, it don't look like y'all have much money. But anyway, Robin says she has a couple of successful businesses, including whack ass hats she wears. Actually, I don't even see her wear them. Them whack ass hats and the Reasonably Shady podcast. Now that's what they show us in the clips. And the lawyer is just looking at her real deadpan, right? The lawyer looked at her like she was crazy because those aren't successful businesses. And I wonder if they like edited out a part maybe where the lawyer asked, how much is your business grossing? Which is why that lawyer looked like, she just had this look on her face like, what the fuck? Like, what are you trying to protect in this agreement? So, that being said, that whack ass shit for camera time. Where is Robin getting this faux leather and this cheap ass jewelry she keeps wearing? Like, I can tell. I really can tell. Like, since the other seasons, like, Robin actually took the time to buy new clothes for this season. The problem is that shit is still cheap and it looks a mess. Okay, this faux leather cheap ass, I don't know if it's from ASOS.com, Fashion Nova, but it's killing me. It's not working. It doesn't look your age. It doesn't look classy. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And I prefer back when she was just dressing like a tomboy because that kind of worked for Robin because that just kind of seemed like that's who Robin is. And we could chop it up to that. And I know I go in, but she doesn't leave me much of a choice. Anyway, Karen and Ashley meet up at this tulip garden, and Wendy comes. They go to pick flowers, I guess. This was just kind of a filler scene. Karen, like I said, asked her Ashley about how she feels about Michael's vasectomy. If I had to hear about this shit one more fucking time, his old ass should have been had a vasectomy. Never mind, I can't. And Ashley said she doesn't give two shits. Really? Because you did at the park. Anyway, so Karen was like, yeah, y'all are definitely on the road to divorce. Anyway, once again, Karen in the confessional. Karen and Giselle, it's a tanning look. It's a faux tanning look, should I say. Something like you went in to a tanning booth the way white women do to look like black women. Except for y'all are black women and y'all look like white women who are trying to look like y'all. That's what y'all look like. Y'all do not look like I was at the beach. I was vacationing. That shit looks bad. It looks bad. Because even if y'all had come back from a trip, hell, Robin would be more burnt in her confessional and she's not. That shit looks ugly. Stop it. All right? It looks like they're orange. Like, I don't get it. So, Wendy shows up, whatever. Wendy admits that she has been told about herself. I'm like, Wendy, they've kind of told you about yourself on multiple occasions. And Mia, they basically show a clip of Mia at this party. I don't know why they didn't show the party as part of the episode. And Mia goes, you're a condescending bitch. I can totally understand how people could feel that way about Wendy. I can totally understand. On the other hand, I think this is what happens when you have a faux friend group, a fake friend group that is not on your level. And what I mean by this, it's not that I think Wendy is so great or so wonderful. Yes, you earned your degrees, but you also full of shit, which is why you're on the show. Birds of a feather flock together. What do I mean by that? I do think Wendy is condescending, but I also think she is in a line of work that applauds that sort of behavior. I know as someone with a PhD in history, you can go look up a dissertation written by me from UCLA, no problem. I do know in that process of getting one, that sort of acting like you have more knowledge than everybody else, being critical, so on and so forth, that's applauded, right? So I think if she was maybe not necessarily on a show, but just around regular people who have been through that process, who are in that line of work, even if they're lawyers, um, but a different kind of professional, I don't know that her behavior would be seen as offensively as it is seen amongst these women. And because she's also trying to pontificate on top of having these degrees, it's annoying, it's disingenuous, and it doesn't fit the mold for the cast. And we can say, yeah, but it's better that you have these images, not if they don't fit. It just doesn't. I don't watch this because I'm looking for images. Anyway, um, so I think people who have been in pageants like the Ashleys and Candaces of the world, or women who have simply married for money like the Giselles and the Karens of the world, um, that's just fucking annoying. It's annoying to them. And so, anyway, I can totally understand how people feel that way. I also think Wendy, it is what it is. So Candace and Chris and Crystal, I think is Candace's sister name, whatever. I'm trying to figure out, is Crystal here to take up the space that Dorothy would normally take up? But since she hasn't apologized to Chris in a way apparently that Chris has found satisfactory, now Crystal, I know they gave us the story that Crystal is getting her house built and all this shit, but I kind of feel like she's kind of playing that space. So Candace starts talking about whatever the name of her EP or album, whatever the fuck it is. And she was like, I want my listeners to know this. And I'm like, Candace, who the fuck are your listeners to this album project? Like, whoever you are, PSA, whoever you are, stop buying it. Please stop buying it so this can disappear from Real Housewives of Potomac and hopefully Candace with it. Thank you and good night. Just don't buy it. Next, Ashley and Wendy are talking. All right, on the way to the winery. And this is what I meant when I said this episode seemed kind of rushed. It was like all of a sudden Wendy goes, yeah, I'm going to have something to try to clear up the fact that people think I'm condescending, this, that, and the other. The only way you can clear that up is to apologize and do better. And these aren't really forgiving individuals. Anyway, so Wendy and Ashley are basically in a separate car going to the winery, and then Wendy has a party van for everybody else. For an intention of coming together, that already looks okay. So Wendy's in the car though, talking to Ashley. Wendy has kidney stones and says they are the closest thing to childbirth, which means they're really painful. But a couple of things regarding Wendy's health, even just since I've gotten to watch the show, kind of has me thinking just this season alone about myself. It just as an educator, like I don't claim to have all those jobs like she has. But when you're teaching students, like I hold my pen all the time. I'm not drinking water the way I should be because you're not supposed to leave students alone, that kind of thing. And I've got to stop that because that can really cause damage. So I appreciate you, girl, for sharing that. But if this is causing her health problems, I think she should pull back on the things that are not making money and are simply potential businesses. Why do I say that? I'm not saying that people shouldn't venture out, but you're talking about you have your regular work as a professor. If anybody knows anything about professorship, there is a great deal of leisure. I'm not saying that they're lazy, but in terms of your classes, how often, a week, a semester, so on and so forth, there's a great deal of leisure. That's why she also is able to do commentating the way she is, okay? So her investing and trying to find $300,000 that Eddie's also willing to go along with um, for a nightclub, to me is an unnecessary form of stress, especially since you have 3 children to take care of. It's something that I'm not saying you have to neglect your dreams, but if you want to see them achieved, I think you need to chill. Okay? Not to mention you got cameras following you around everywhere. That cannot be helpful. We've seen you in every aspect of everything you say, except in the classroom. Okay. So it also occurs to me in the process of her and Ashley riding in this car, because this was kind of a struggle conversation too. And Ashley seems like the kind of person that can kind of talk to anybody. It has occurred to me that Wendy doesn't have any real friends or even allies on this show. Like there's nobody I can like connect her with. Um, like she's hosting this event and she's having a struggle scene with Ashley. Like Wendy, you were just talking about how nobody that you think Mia's a fucking liar and that nobody's willing to give her a chance except for you and Karen. And I'm like, honestly, Wendy, I think you need to be a little bit nicer. Because Mia can actually have a storyline with her family on her own, and she is very entertaining. You, my darling, it's not given. All right. So, what is the lesson? Wendy, like, take filming this show off your plate. Like, just do something. Like, girl, bye. So, everybody is in the van. Everybody else. Okay? So, Robin is talking shit, saying this is the fakest invite ever. So, I'm just like, but bitch, then why are you going? Like, as a grown ass woman, I don't give a fuck about filming all this other shit you talking about with these successful businesses. Bitch, why are you going? Why not sit this one out? Okay, pause also. I'm not here for those weird ass stills in between scenes where like the flowers are dying. And I told y'all this on the first review I did of Potomac. I'm not here for it. Production, stop. Yo, the shit is not cute. Anyway, speaking of bus conversation, Mia says in her confessional, she is on an ashy ass party bus from 1985. Mia just be saying wild shit. Giselle gets off the bus and almost falls. If she would have fell on her ass, that would have been everything. But seeing her kind of slip was funny. Candace says, well, we all know what happens when you bring wild boars to wineries. And then they go back, show the clips of the fight with Monique. This is what I'm talking about when I say I have fucking problems with Candace. Okay? And everybody can get it because I ain't here for nobody like that. Okay? You aren't being subjected to anything because that was her word. Her word was subjected. Why is Wendy subjecting me to this again? Bitch, you didn't have to go. Being subjected is to be stuck somewhere. You didn't have to get on no goddamn party bus. Bitch, you could have drove your own car and left when you got good and fucking ready. And if you have that kind of trauma, the kind that you were claiming that you had that had you on pills and post-it notes and all that other old bullshit you was putting on, then bitch, don't go. Like, this is not real. This is not real life at all. Not even close. Then to talk about why would I bring my magical blackness here? But this is my problem with the hypocrisy of that. Meanwhile, you want to talk about magical blackness and then you're referring to another black person, specifically another black woman, as an animal. After you did things to provoke her, you pretended to be her friend while trying to get cool with Giselle and them, and you made a goddamn fool out of yourself and you got your ass whooped. This is why I can't check for nobody on the show. So anyway, they're at the winery. Now, Wendy, it's just a struggle. I just don't think you fit in. And since you are so booked and so busy, just go be busy and less booked, like not on this show. All right, so there's a notebook for each person. And Wendy says they have to write down what they're feeling and deal with the issue of perception. It's given real stormy Love and Marriage Huntsville, but this may be just something that's floating through the reality TV, wives show, whatever. We know nothing's going to get resolved, okay? But we don't watch it really to watch resolutions. All right, so Giselle is saying Basically, Wendy wants to talk about accountability. She has never been accountable. They showed the throwbacks of Wendy reading the entire fuck out of Giselle for talking about her husband, saying that he has an outside child. And Wendy was going in on her ass and saying it was God paying her back for the way she had treated other people. Because all the shit she was saying about Eddie was projection of what Jamal did to Giselle. And Giselle is the kind of person, if I'm not happy, nobody's going to be happy. Okay? So, no, that's not about her taking accountability. That's about her defending her family, which you claim you were doing when you tried to push Wendy off when Wendy tried to speak to you. Now, Wendy, that was some fake ass shit because I wouldn't try to speak to that bitch. But if she would have lied like that on my husband and my children, no. No, 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 no. But Giselle, you got some motherfucking nerve. You lie about everything. All right, so Ashley says that there has been a bit of a barrier. Ashley takes a turn after she writes stuff down. She was like, there's been a bit of a barrier between her and Wendy. She did kind of feel like Wendy had a wall up and so on and so forth. She said, but she really does feel like it's getting better. Well, I guess thanks to that car ride where it was only you two who seemed very comfortable in the vehicle, not the Ashley party bus, maybe it is on your way to a better relationship. And Lord knows Wendy needs it to stay on the show because you know Sharice trying to get her coins back up. Anyway, Candace stands up and says, I don't have to write anything. Wendy, you're my friend, so this is coming from the heart. I do think you've been more open, and I like that about you, whatever. Okay? Karen says, look, Wendy, it's no secret we started out rocky. And they show when Karen was basically like, what is she a doctor of? She's always telling us she's a doctor. And she was like, you don't even have one degree. But she came on the show, like I said, pontificating. Karen didn't have to read her like that. And Wendy, you didn't have to pontificate that whole season like that and then sliding down stripper poles on a party bus the next season, then claiming that's you. Like, these people, and the more I talk about it, it just seems so crazy. So Mia says, I find you to be dismissive. Okay? And Mia says, you have no self-accountability. Okay? Mia does not like her. Somebody like Mia and somebody like Wendy, honestly, don't have much in common any goddamn way. I don't care about the ages of their children. They do not have a lot in common. Okay? They come from two different worlds, have had two different life struggles, and I think that's just going to be what it is. I actually think pleasantries are hard at this point, but at least Mia could say, hey, this was it. Whatever. I don't expect them. That wouldn't be real if I saw them anywhere. But honestly, maybe Mia could give Wendy some business advice, but Wendy ain't going to ever take it from her. And to some degree, I completely understand. Now, Robin gets, this is what I'm trying to figure out. Robin says, look, we're oil and water, and I'm fine with that. Bitch. Why are you there? This is why you're so fucking stupid, Robin. That shit looks whack. So Giselle and her dumb bird brain ass, her and Robin both back and forth. It's like ditto to Robin and ditto to Mia. And I'm sitting up here like, how, Giselle, are you going to be mad at Wendy after you lied about her family? You got mad at her because she read the fuck out of you on TV. You should be mad at Jamal. You should be mad at the way other men have played you on this show because you ain't shit. You're not likable. You're not a nice person. And nobody wants to be with you because of that. You hardly have any friends. And that's clear. Except for the bitches that you was hazing fucking during your Hampton years. And still, they so brainwashed. They still want you to like them. Anyway. So Wendy tries to own it. Giselle jumps in like the weak bitch that she is to defend Robin, going back and forth with Wendy. Robin, you're a fucking liar. Okay? You sitting up, she was like, stop saying that I was being aggressive or I tried to fight you. You're trying to paint me as a thug. Bitch, you did get up. You did get up and you were aggressive. We remember that. You were like, yeah, I'm standing. You was trying to go hard. You know that camera crew was around. And you were like, nobody had to pull me back, this and the other. Then you get Sharice on the phone. First of all, Sharice is a known liar. Sharice is desperate to be back on the show. Sharice is looking for the weakest link. And because Wendy lacks connections and friendships, she is looking to trade out positions. which is basically why she got jealous of Monique when Monique became a central figure to the show. It's happening again. So don't call Sharice on the phone as if y'all didn't have this conversation before you called her. So Robin says, I don't appreciate you calling my behavior aggressive. And Wendy was like, first of all, you did walk up on me. When somebody has to restrain you, yes, it does appear like you are trying to fight. Yeah. Then they show she's asking Sharice, she was like, did you ever have to put one finger on me? And Sharice is like, no. And Wendy was basically like, I don't give a fuck what you said. That happened. And I'm sitting up here watching the playback of not only Sharice putting her whole hand and forearm to push Robin back, but standing up while Robin tries to reach over her, acting like she wanted to fight Wendy. And her and Giselle are like, huh? What are you talking about? She just said, like, Sharice is somehow the end all be all. And they think because they lie together, somebody gonna believe that. And bitch ass Andy Cohen, I can definitely see his sorry racist ass not giving this the time it needs on the fucking reunion because he's so busy trying to like pick out one black woman to tear down like he has with Garcelle, like he did with Monique, like he did with Nene. We've seen it. We've seen it too many times. And so Robin starts screaming and yelling, typical behavior of somebody who's lying. I don't care. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. It just, everything about when Robin tries to curse and get hard, it looks forced. It looks fake. Her anger toward Wendy is really based on the fact that in that same incident, when Wendy read the shit out of Giselle, and Wendy talks about there are rumors about my husband. And we know from last season, Wendy was like, Robin called me and told me those rumors were out about my husband. Basically saying that, I think to some extent that Giselle was spreading them. And then when they got on camera, she pretended not to know. No, Robin, you're mad at Wendy because Wendy called you out on that shit. And you started it. You told her. You told her. And then you got on camera and got new. That's why you start having these immature emotional. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Well, bitch, then don't give a fuck. Ain't nobody gonna miss you at the table. I'm leaving. First of all, bitch, where are you going? You came with a party bus. What you mean? What you mean? Giselle and Robin are too lame for me. Robin is stupid, like really stupid. Bravo, just fire her. Like, I never thought she should have made it past the first season of Real Housewives of Potomac. I don't know how she's managed to make it this long, but get her off the screen. They need to do some recasting. Damn, okay. I mean, what does Robin do for the show? Like all these weak, what did Karen say? Batches. Cannot stand on their own. As far as storylines, Giselle, Robin, Sharice. These are not people that want to expose parts of their lives in a way that like would be interesting to us. Giselle hides and lies. Sharice does the same. Robin is just lame as hell. You put a camera on Mia and see if Mia can stand on her own. You put a camera on Karen and see if Karen can entertain us. I don't care whether she's lying the whole time or not. Okay? Candace bring her crazy ass family on. Honestly, she probably could make that work. But them three miss me with it. So how is Robin talking about I'm out? And then she goes sit on the party van. I'm like, you know you can't afford no 2-hour Uber or Lyft. Regardless of them fake ass successful businesses you was trying to tell an attorney about when she was looking at you like you were crazy. All right. So that happens. Robin leaves. Oh, good. All right. So Ashley decided she wants to address Candace and start shit like Ashley has been doing since season 2. I don't know what happened to season 1 Ashley, but she was a much better person. So she claims one of her friends felt like Chris was being flirty with her at the spring party. We literally have no evidence of Chris's behavior. We heard sound clips. There were legal things brought against Michael in court. Those kind of things we have evidence of. There is really no evidence for Chris Bassett. Period. Okay? And I'm not doing this. And Candace, you are not wrong for calling these batches uh, out for lying. I'm sorry, protect your husband. And because you're not protecting a lie. They have decided they are going to zero in on you, make your husband look bad because their relationships are fucked up, and the way they go about getting their money on Bravo is destroying other people's families and relationships. Ashley, Giselle, who's the other one that's in it? Stirring the pot. Mia, who lies, and Mia sitting at the table was like, I didn't say he was, I said he was looking at me. I didn't say in a sexual way. Mia, you always lying. Like, you always lying, and I just don't understand it. And Candace goes off and she's like, you're coming from a place of vindictiveness. Basically, like, you're mad because I mentioned that stuff about Michael. But the difference is it was true. And so Ashley goes, so what? You just want to turn a blind eye? And Candace said, well, you should know. I said, And that was the end of the episode. That was the read of it all. So once again, y'all know this channel is just getting started. Y'all can put down in the comments or like the video or whatever. And somebody put the comments from Love and Marriage Huntsville, they were like, I just happened to get on your channel. I don't like your channel. You forgot this, that, and the other. I won't be coming back. That's cool, y'all. That's cool. This is not for everybody. This is something I just wanted to do and I'm enjoying. I'm hoping that, you guys will come along for a ride. But like, I probably know these people as well as most people do, which is not at all. So it's not that deep. Okay? It's not that deep. You are welcome to your opinion. You are welcome to put it down in the comments. But just know this is entertainment for me. It's not that deep. But anyway, y'all have a good night. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.